When I was walking my grandson home from the park, I was thinking about all the kids around there, and it's a park. There's kids there playing. Just the differences in growing up in the country compared to the city, because obviously growing up in the country there wasn't a park to go to, and there wasn't like a lot of neighbor kids around, and you well, we had rabbits and chickens and dogs and cats. So, I was with them. I went for walks. You rode your bike down the road. I don't know. We had a swing. We had a willow tree. We had a swing on the willow tree. And I would climb trees. We had a nice willow tree out where the chickens were, and I would climb trees. So, but that's what you did, right? Because out in the country, and there's no parks to go to. I mean, your yard was your park, or walking down the road to the stream, working in the gardens, obviously, planting potatoes, and you had to plant enough potatoes to get you through the whole winter. And then in the fall, of course, was all the canning and the freezing. You had to fill up the freezer for the winter, so you had food to eat all winter long. So just very different lives, of course. And I look at all the kids, and I see all these kids, and they're all heading home. It was around 5:30, and they're all heading home. And everybody's like, "Gotta go home, gotta go home." It's supper time. Gotta go home. And I watch them all, and they're all together, and they're just doing this and that and talking. And I think, wow, like it's just I never had that, and of course they never had what I had. They have a park to go to and tons of kids to hang around, where I rode my bike down the road to the stream, or I walked through the woods. I don't know. You did country stuff, right? Like I say, you're working in the garden all the time. I like to read, and you had the a lawn to mow, and there was a lot of lawn to mow. There was all the country things to do. Now, a lot of people in the city hang up their clothes too. We had like long lines out there and hung up all the clothes, but there wasn't any park. There wasn't a bunch of kids I hung around with. Obviously, I was out in the country, and I don't know, just different lifestyles. I look at those kids and I just think, I never had that. I never had like kids around. I went over to a friend's house now and then, stayed overnight. Had a friend over, once in a while, now and then, on the weekend. A friend from school or something, stay overnight. But we still went for walks through the woods when, a friend came over. We'd go for a walk through the woods or whatever, you know. And of course, it's different. We didn't have computers, we didn't have cell phones, and didn't take a lot of pictures because getting pictures developed costs money, which we didn't have, so you didn't use the camera a lot. So just totally different lifestyle. I just see all the kids, and I think, I wonder, well, how my life would have been different if I had been in a town or a city and I went to the park and played with all the other kids. But who knows how these city kids' lives would have been different if they would have grown up as I had and was walking to the creek every day by themselves, riding their bike down the road every day by themselves, or walking through the woods every day by themselves, and the lifestyle that I had. It's just things that you think about. It'll be much different. Well, I guess even for my girls, it was different, obviously, growing up, and for my grandson now, it'll be different for him growing up. But there's pros and cons to both. Pros and cons to living out there in the country and working in the garden all summer and walking through the woods and, just being on your own all the time. And I guess there's pros and cons to living in the city and being around a lot of kids and going to the park with a lot of kids. But see, I don't mind being alone, and I think that's maybe a big thing too. And not that there's people that grow up in the city that don't mind being alone too, but I think too, because I grew up in the country and I was alone a lot, and just a dog or cat, like I was alone a lot. often. And I walked to the creek by myself, rode my bike down the road, country road, and I sat out in the woods for hours and walked through the woods for hours and had all the parts of the name or the woods named, all these different areas that I had named and everything, and because that's what there was to do. And I enjoyed it. So I don't know, different lifestyles, but I still I watch all the kids over there playing together, and I think it just kind of always hits me. It's like, wow, I never had that as a kid. Not that it's a bad thing. It just always something that comes to my mind. Like, I never played with a bunch of kids. I never went to a park. I don't remember ever going to a park. We were way out in the country. I didn't go to a park. Anyways, I had a couple of days off, and tomorrow I have a little one again. And the weather is a lot nicer, so we've been getting over to the park, which has been really nice. Was anyone able to tell that during that video I was having a hot flash? Oh wow. While I was talking, the sweat on my forehead was breaking out more and more and more and more. And the heat, and I'm talking, and it's just getting worse, and it's getting worse, and it's getting worse. Oh my goodness sakes. I can't find my hair clip, so I just stuck my hair up in a ponytail. I was like, oh, and I brushed all my hair off my forehead because my forehead broke right out in sweat. I'm like, oh my gosh. And I just kept on talking, even though I was like sweating. My forehead was just getting soaked. I tell you, you curl and do your bangs, and the next thing you know, yeah, your forehead's just soaked in sweat. Actually, I think I'm going to go pin them back right now. Find something to pin them back. Oh, awful bathroom lights.